Hey friends, okay, we are experimenting tonight. I'm making something that I've never made before. Some salmon patties. I'll tell you about this kind of salmon I got here in a minute. But anyway, growing up, my grandmother always made salmon patties. I was not a huge fan of them. Hang on, we'll get back to that story in just a second. Let's get our peppers and onions going over here sauteing, and then we'll get back talking about it. So I want to do about 1/4 of a cup of very finely diced onion and red bell pepper. And then what I have left here, I will just put it in the bag and pop it in the fridge. Anyway, so a little bit of red bell pepper, y'all. Same thing. I have just a little bit of oil and butter here in my skillet. I want to saute this up to put in my little patties. This is probably different from how you made them or grew up eating them. My grandmother didn't do this either. But, so let me tell you. All right, so she used to make them. It was like a pretty common meal that she would make whenever I was growing up. And y'all, when I stepped off that school bus in the evening, I knew when she was making them because I could smell them. I think the smell is what drove me away. But y'all know I'm not a big fish, seafood person anyway. So I never really cared for them. And throughout my life, I've not really cared for them. But y'all know, I tell y'all all the time that I just will start acquiring a taste for things. I don't know what it is. I did the same thing with meatloaf. I never liked meatloaf. Now I love it. Now I don't eat just any meatloaf, but I like the way that I make it. And I was the same way with tuna fish. I did not eat tuna fish growing up. Love it now. Crab meat, crab cakes. You know, I've made those with us before. So here lately, I've been thinking I want some salmon patties. I don't know why. Like I said, I've never liked them, never made them. But a friend of mine did ask me one day, or a couple of my friends, they're like, I think you could make us some good salmon patties. I'm like, well, I don't really like them, but I said, I think if I come up with a good recipe, I think I could like them. So this is a trial run tonight. I have studied on this, and this is how I have come up the recipe that I have come up with to make these. And like I said, it's probably different. I don't remember my grandmother making them the way that I'm fixing to make them tonight. This is just a way that I feel like that I will probably like them. You know what I mean? And so then I will know, and I'll know if I need to tweak it or change it. Y'all can give me some tips and share your recipes and ideas with me in the comments. Please do. We're in this all together to learn with each other. I'm always very transparent with y'all if it's something that I'm very confident in making or if it's something that I'm new at making. And this is a new thing for me, y'all. And I'm doing it with y'all. So, what I'm going to do is let these peppers and onions saute up. Like I said, I have about 1/4 of a cup of each. Red bell pepper, a little bit of onion, diced up very, very fine. And I want those to get good and soft because I only plan on cooking the patties about 4 or 5 minutes on each side, so we don't want to have a crunchy pepper or onion in it. And I can't remember if my grandmother put onions in hers or not. I know she didn't put bell pepper. So anyway, we're going to make a homemade tartar sauce that I think I've made this before, and I think it's going to be delicious. It'd be delicious with some good fried catfish, I'll tell you that. So let me let these cook for a second. I've got everything measured out here, y'all, and I'm pretty prepared and ready to go. And I'll come back in a second. And first thing we're going to do is make this tartar sauce up, then get our patties mixed up. Okay, y'all, I've got my peppers and onions just over here sauteing up on a very low temperature. And now we're going to make up our little tartar sauce I was telling you about. So I'm making half a batch of my tartar sauce recipe. So just remember, if you want to make more, just double this recipe because I cut it in half. Typically, I do more than this. But anyway, this is 1/2 cup of mayo. 1/2 a cup. So you can either you can do this amount or you can double it and make a full batch. Just depends on how many people you got eating. Okay? Alright, so 1/2 cup of that, and then we're going to do some lemon. Just maybe about a teaspoon or so, not much. We're not going to use this whole half of one. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit in there. That's probably enough. We'll use the rest in our salmon patties here in a minute. Okay, and then right here I have about 1/3 of a cup of dill pickles. Now y'all know I love dill pickles, and then I love sweet relish. If you want to use dill relish, you can. Just be mindful of the liquid that's in it. I may add a little bit of that liquid in, that's why I left it out. And then I like to do just about a tablespoon of the real fine minced up onion. That's optional, okay? So 1/3 cup of dill pickle and about a tablespoon of real finely minced onion. Okay? Put that down in there. And then in my little cup here, I have already measured out, I have about a teaspoon of dried parsley. They didn't have any fresh. Fresh is better if you can get it. And then I would usually even use more, like a half a tablespoon. But anyway, this is about a teaspoon of dried parsley, half a teaspoon of sugar, 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. I didn't do any salt because of the pickles and because I may add some of that liquid in, and these pickles are really salty, okay? So we may have to add some salt, but I'm just going to wait a minute. And that is it on the tartar sauce, y'all. And this is usually really, really good. Let's see. I think I will do just a tad of this liquid. Not much. Just a little splash. Just like that. And I'm going to get us a spoon and we're going to taste it. Y'all, this is so good. You may have to add another little pinch of sugar. I never know. I just kind of eyeball it usually. Okay. Let's taste it and see. Yeah, let me grab just a little bit more sugar. It is a little tart. So I'm going to do just a little bit more sugar. So just do your taste test and then decide how much you need to add, okay? Because we did do that lemon and the pickle juice. So I think that'll be fine. And then I'm going to taste it again. I think it'll be okay. So y'all see that? It's really good. Okay. These here, I'm going to set these off, y'all, and let them cool off for a minute. I want them to be cool before we mix them in with all of our other stuff. So I'm going to get this little part cleaned up and then get all of our other stuff over here, excuse me, for our salmon patties. I've got everything ready to go, but y'all know I've got to do, I got this little space here, so I have to do one thing at a time. But I'm going to cover this and just kind of set this in the fridge and let it hang out while we do our other stuff. I'll be back in a minute, y'all. Okay, y'all, let's get this salmon going. Now, this is the kind of salmon that I got. And the reason for that is, I know that I see a lot of people use that one brand, what is it, Double Q or something like that. Like I said, this is something I've never even bought, y'all. But they didn't have any of that. And our Walmart was sold out. So, out of all of my years of cooking, of course, I could not get that kind of salmon today whenever I needed it. Let's see, this does have a little bit of liquid. Hang on, y'all. I'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and open all these and drain it, and then I'll come back. Okay, y'all, here is our salmon. Now, I did 3 packages of those. Now, I noticed there were 2 different sizes. They had this one, which is 5 ounces. I bought 3 of these because I noticed that the canned salmon that you would typically use was 14.5. So, this is just almost as close to it. So, I used 3 of these 5-ounce packages. This is the chicken of the sea, and I chose this because I love their tuna, and I've used their crab meat, and it's never let me down yet. So I thought, you know what? I bet their salmon is good too, since I can't get that one brand that I was looking for. So that's what I went with, y'all. We will see. Y'all let me know if you've ever used this kind. They had another kind there that was like in the can, but y'all, I just wasn't sure about it. It was pretty cheap, which y'all know I love a good deal, but sometimes you got to be careful with what kind of price you get on certain things. Y'all know what I mean. I thought, I don't know. I see everybody use that other kind. What am I going to do? And then whenever I seen chicken of the sea, it saved the day. say, y'all. So 15 ounces of salmon here. We've got it drained, and then I'm gonna squeeze some lemon over it. Get y'all up here close so y'all can see. All right, we're just gonna squeeze a little bit of lemon. I think that'll be enough. I might have to do a little bit more. Hang on. Just a tad. Yeah, there we go. Okay. We've got that. Now, I have 1/4 cup of mayo. 1/4 cup. Y'all, I know y'all probably can't hear it, but Bella's over there snoring in that chair. She sure is. She's sleeping good. All right, 1/4 cup mayo. All right. Now, let's go ahead and do our egg. I'm gonna put it in this bowl and kind of mix it. So 1 egg. I'll just use this fork. Won't matter. One egg going in. Okay. And then I have, let's go ahead and do our seasonings here. So I wrote down in this little container here, I have 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I have about 1/2 teaspoon of W sauce. I have 1 teaspoon of garlic salt. Now you can either do the garlic salt or you can do a little bit of garlic and a little bit of salt, whichever one you want. I did 1 teaspoon of garlic salt. And then I did about 1/2 tablespoon of dried parsley. I would love to have fresh. I didn't have any. And then I did 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Okay? Let me see. I'm going to have to use something. What did I do with that? Oh. Something to get that out. So, like I said, teaspoon Dijon mustard, 1/2 teaspoon of W sauce, 1 teaspoon of garlic salt, 1/2 tablespoon of parsley, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Okay. Now, let's see. What else do I need here? Here is our breadcrumbs. So I couldn't decide, y'all. I read recipes where some people use crackers. So what I decided to do, I have 1/2 cup of just the plain breadcrumbs here. Just plain. And I'm going to crush up a few crackers to go in it also. Just a few. I think that was maybe 5 or 6 crackers. I'm just going to crush them up really small, or try to get them as small. I should have already done this like in a Ziploc bag. But I know that I really love crackers like in my meatloaf and stuff over breadcrumbs. I would always choose crackers over them. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and put a little bit in this. But y'all, it seems like, if I'm not mistaken, I think my grandmother may have used like cornmeal or something. I don't know. Like, I never really paid that much attention because it wasn't something that, you know, I really liked. But I don't know. Y'all tell me, what is the old-fashioned way? Because whatever it is, that's what she did. Okay. 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs, about 5 or 6 saltine crackers. Going in. Okay. Now, all we like is our sauteed up little bit of peppers and onions. Y'all see how it cooks down to just a tiny little bit? Okay. And I believe that is it. Let me make sure. I think that's everything. Fixing to put me a glove on. I'm just fixing to get my hands in here like I do with my meatloaf. I think that's probably the best way. Let me get my bracelet stuck down in there. Okay. I feel like this is one of those things kind of like burgers or crab cakes. You don't really want to overwork it. So I'm going to try to not overdo it. But you want to get it mixed up, of course. I'm just lightly tossing it. I'm not really working it too much. Just kind of tossing it around, y'all. Well, it smells good, if nothing else. It really does have a good smell. And usually I don't love fishy smells too much, but that's where that lemon comes into play a lot. a lot of times. I hope it's gonna stay together good. I'm wondering if I need a little bit more mayo. Let's go ahead and go with it. We're just gonna go with it like this. Okay. Let's see. So I'm just going to pat them out about this size. If I remember correctly, this is usually about what size they are. I've got me a pan here, some parchment paper on it. I don't know how many this is gonna make, but about like that, I guess. Well, they're definitely not going to be tough because I can tell right now they are it's very tender, I guess, with the crackers and the peppers and onions and all that in there is keeping it from kind of just bonding up really, really tight. Okay, y'all. I'm not going to keep you while I make all these. I'm just going to continue to make these out in this size. Oh, shoot. I got my hand in that. Let me wipe it off. I'm going to make these up, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to fry them up. Okay, y'all. I had to move over here to the big burner. In here, I have just a little bit of oil and a little bit of butter. Just a mixture of both. Let's see. I need to add a little bit more oil in there. I don't want that butter to burn. Okay, and so what I ended up doing too, y'all, with my little patties here, I felt like I got carried away in the beginning and we're making them too big, just like I was my sausage balls. I'm used to patting out a big old hamburger steak, obviously. So, anyway, so I kind of went back and downsized them a little bit, so I feel like they're a better size now. So I have 8 patties, okay? Y'all tell me if that's about typically what you have or if I'm still making them a little too big. Y'all let me know. All right, so we're going to start placing them in here. Okay. I don't want to overcrowd the skillet, so even though I could probably squeeze them in, I think I'm going to just do 4 at a time and do 2 batches. I think they'll just cook up better that way. All right, so that's what we're going to do. Let me, wipe my hand off a little bit. Okay, they're just over here going, y'all, and I'm gonna let them fry up. I'll let you know kind of how long I've cooked them. I'll try to watch the time over here, and I'll be back. Okay, y'all, moment of truth. Here we are. Well, let me show you this whole big batch here first. I've already got my little plate out over here. But here they are. And now, like I said, these don't look like the salmon patties that I remember my grandmother making. I feel like this is a totally different style of salmon patty. And so I know I have a lot of y'all on here that make the kind that I'm talking about that she made. What I want you to do, here's my little plate here, and I got that sauce, and I just garnished with a little bit of green onion. I'm gonna squeeze a little bit of lemon over it because y'all know I don't like a fishy taste. So I'm gonna squeeze that over. It just kind of helps, I feel like. All right, so I want y'all to share your recipe with me. And I'm going to try these again. I want to make them that other way too. I mean, I hadn't even tasted this yet. Even if I like it, I want to make them the other way also. Since I'm having a hankering for them, I want to do several different recipes, and that's how I do whenever I'm making something new until I figure out how I like it. And so I want y'all to share your recipe with me. Like I said, I think like the thing about hers, how they looked, they were like way more crispy. This is like a very delicate type feel. And hers were very crispy. Like I can remember that crunch whenever they would be eating them or cutting into them or whatever. And it seems like they were thicker but smaller around. So but that's something I'll just know to change next time. But I want y'all to share your recipe with me, and I'm gonna make them again. Remember, this is a trial and run here, so we're gonna work on this till I get me the perfect salmon patty, y'all. All right, let's try it. I like it. Kind of reminds me of a crab cake. I want to try it the other way too. No, give me your recipes. This is good. If y'all never tried them this way, I want y'all to try them this way. You may like them like this too. There's so many different ways we can make different foods, y'all. And that's another thing. That's one thing that I don't like about these that I'm not pleased with. I don't like it that they're not staying together. Now, I know that's expected with like a crab cake, but I've never seen salmon patties do this. They're always just, you know, pretty well formed up together. So that's definitely an improvement that I want to make the next time I make them. So y'all let me know how you do it. Do you do cornmeal? I feel like that's something that she used. I don't know. The flavor is amazing. They're really, really good. If I could just get the texture a little bit different and the crispiness with this flavor, I'd be happy. The flavor is great. I love them. I'm very pleased and satisfied for my first time. There's just a few changes that I want to make them better. I got me some beans over here, y'all. Oh, yeah. And I know I said something about making fried potatoes. I ended up not doing it. I thought, you know, I don't need those carbs. Whenever I look back at my old videos today, where I was making the beans and stuff, I thought, okay, you have gained some weight. I can always tell it when I look back at pictures and videos. So I thought, you don't need no potatoes today. You need to cut out them carbs. So y'all gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna have to do some healthy meals in the next week or two. And I gotta get back to my hiking, y'all. Not just for that, the hiking helps me. I could tell in that video just by looking at my face and just everything about me. It was whenever I was hiking hard, it just helps me so much mentally, physically, just health-wise. It helps me so much. And I can tell whenever I seen that I had been really steadily hiking and where I'm not now. So it's good to look back at and notice that about yourself and be self-aware. You know, anyway, y'all, thank y'all for hanging in there with me for this experience. Like I said, share your recipe with me. We're going to do this again, and I'm going to keep on until I get the perfect salmon patty recipe. All right, I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.